Okay. Yeah, Kiran, I know. I'll start in 2 minutes, okay? I'll wait for till 6:05 and then we'll start. Hmm. Yeah, hi. Good evening, Jay Chandra. Hmm. Uh, Good evening, Bharati. Okay, it's good to see old students. Mm, the- yeah, hi. Good evening to everyone. Okay, chalo, we will start. So, what is this program is about? Let me brief about the program. Okay, so in this program, I will be covering current affairs related to the 2025 UPSC exam. As the UPSC exam currently, the prelims is little far away. It is approximately in the time period of the May. Okay, we have a good amount of time. So for the next 1 month, we will be doing current affairs that has relevance with both pre as well as the mains. I will make sure that you don't need anything else to be followed after my class. So you will be getting both content in terms of the PDF. So you might be following my Telegram channel. The content will be always exhaustive. You need not follow anything else that is required. There are many materials and magazines that are coming in the market. It's my job to cover all of those and provide you the relevant content. So most of you students might be confused which all things to be studied for the prelims and the mains. So most of the students are aware various magazines are present in the market, but it is for those students who are struggling to understand, and also for those students who want to save their time. It is very difficult for us to sit and consolidate all the things. Okay, so by joining my program, you need not go through all the magazines, and you can both save your time as well as money in spending unnecessarily for the current affairs. Okay, so in this program, for the initial 1 month before we approach for the prelims, I will be also discussing questions, how it can be asked in the mains, how it can also be used in the mains. So all those things, how you have to utilize the facts in various dimensions, like be it IR, be it essay. Okay, so I will be helping you to tell you those interlinkages. So by doing this program, it is not just simply current affairs. You will also understand how and where we can use these things. So this is what the main advantage of this program. And this program is going to be comprehensive enough for your prelims preparation as well as the mains preparation. Definitely questions, you will find the reflection of the questions which we discuss in the class. Because like, it's not that I'm new into this market. I have given 6 mains and 2 interviews, and this is the only thing I am doing since last 10 years. Okay, nothing else. So you can safely rely on me. You need not worry. And how we will be structuring the things? What would be the structure of this program? The structure of the program, we will be taking 2 sessions every week, 2 or 3 sessions every week. And it will be comprising of 1.5 to 2 hours. If required, if there is a need to cover more things, then the number of hours will increase. but I will keep the classes very concise, very precise as per the demand of the exam. We know we need not get into the content in the form of YouTube where beta like karo, babu like karo. Okay, so all these things will go on. Okay, so in this program we need not be doing all these things. So we will be doing only as per the demand of the question. It will be in a very concise and very precise manner, delivering the content that is exactly needed for the exam. And if the person faces any doubts, I will be available on the Telegram. So I will be taking up your doubts. You can directly text me on the Telegram if at all any doubts still prevail after the exam. Okay, I mean after the discussion on the Telegram. Okay, you can directly meet me. I will be available in the Hyderabad and Ashok Nagar. So those students who are from the Hyderabad, they can directly reach out to me. I will be sitting at the forum as well for the mentorship. So I will be scheduling time for you. If you guys have any doubts, you can directly meet with me offline, or the students who are generally studying online, they can meet me, consult me online. Okay, so either way, offline or online, I'm accessible in any way. Whoever the students are in touch with me, they know. Okay, I will be responding to the students as early as possible. So I'm known for that. So I will not be avoiding the students. So I'm always accessible to the student at the max 24 hours. That's it. But I will be that also in the cases where I'm occupied with something very busy or my health is unwell or something like that. Only in those scenarios I will be taking time, or else I'll respond as early as possible. Okay, for the most of the students, there won't be any kind of issues. Okay, so that is how the program will be structured. Okay, before getting into the content, I have discussed about the program. Now we'll start our lecture. Lecture number one. I have framed various topics that are in the news, and we will be going accordingly. Okay, if there are any doubts, you can mention things into the chat box. And once we have discussed the content, you can also raise your questions. Okay, students, let's start our discussion. So see, in this discussion, I have also taken everything. See, now Rajya Sabha chairman, it is in the news. The polity topic, it is going on in the news, and the land boards. Okay, land boards that are in the news. Okay, so they can ask till now. So far, they have not asked much things on the land boards and the land boards authority of the India, though it is a very important statutory body. So we need to know study about those things, and we also need to study about the various map locations in the news. So because you guys might be knowing, okay, my map pointing, whoever the students have studied with me the geography, they know the mapping is exhaustively covered. Okay, so we will be doing all those mapping locations in the news. You need not be worried which maps has to be studied, which parts has to be studied and all. Okay, and then we will also be doing all the topics that comes in the news from the IR, from the governance point of view. So from the governance point of view, you might be aware that NHRC is in the news. We will be doing these topics both from the prelims as well as the mains. Wherever the topics demand from the mains point of view, we will be doing those mains aspects as well, like I have said. So initially in these time periods, we will be doing mains aspects as well. But as we go on, as we move towards January and the January mids and January ending, then we will be sticking only to the prelims, and all the aspects of the prelims will be covered. Now see, India and UAE, it is in the news. So you will be getting everything related to the India and UAE. So what is the relevance of the India-UAE relationship? What are the challenges that are being faced in the India and UAE, and various free trade agreements that are currently in the discussion? All those things will be covered. Okay, friends. So BRICS is in the news, and various governance related schemes you might have heard about that is in the news, like Telangana Talli. Okay, whoever are from the Telugu states, they might be aware what is the issue that is going on with the Telangana Talli. So that is also current affair aspect which I have taken. Then MGNREGA in the news because of the deletion of the job cards. So under which ministry is implementing this MGNREGA? What is this Aadhaar enabled payment systems? Those things we'll try to understand. And then we will also doing whether various other schemes that are in the news. For suppose I have taken up the news topics that are in the news last week. Okay, like PM AWAS Yojana. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So whatever the important relevant things, both from the prelims point of view and mains point of view. As it's been 10 years, so they can ask anything from these schemes. Like in the 2014 BJP government came into the power and they have initiated various new schemes. So all these schemes become important for us. Okay, so let's start our discussion, friends. First, I will be taking the topic of the Rajya Sabha. So why is it in the news? Okay, this is the first time the opposition party or India team, sorry, not India team, okay, India, the bloc, they wanted to move a resolution, okay, to remove the Rajya Sabha chairman from his office. So this is the first time such no confidence motion is passed against the Rajya Sabha chairman. So that's why this is so much in the news, not any time before. Okay. So, now see, friends, we need to study whenever such things happens in the news. We need to study those things both from the prelims point of view as well as a mains point of view. We never know. UPSC can ask either it in the prelims or it in the mains. Generally, we tend to avoid certain topics, right? Now, we may not be studying things of Rajya Sabha or roles and functions of the Rajya Sabha chairman for the mains. So, but when these things happens in the news, that also see now this is a December. Your UPSC mains will be conducted in the month of the September next year. So we might tend to forget. But when we have consolidated the content, when we have consolidated the current affairs, you will definitely, and you will not miss the Rajya Sabha topic next time when you study for your mains. And since you have finished the topic now itself, you will not feel the load to study this topic after the prelims. So that's why we are covering these things. Now, Rajya Sabha chairman, though he is not actually the member of the Rajya Sabha, okay, he's the same person, vice president, is taking up the roles and responsibility of the Rajya Sabha chairman, just like a roles and responsibility of the speaker in the Lok Sabha. Okay, so you need to go through this thing. Now, why the opposition is demanding no confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chairman is, now see, as a person who is presiding officer of that house, he is expected to be neutral. But they are criticizing that he's not expecting he's not behaving in a neutral manner. Why? Because he is the person who will also interpret the rules of the rules and procedures of the Rajya Sabha, who has to lead the house, who has to speak in the house, what kind of actions has to be, disciplinary actions has to be taken against the person who is violating the rules of the house. So all these powers are present with the Rajya Sabha chairman. So that person is expected to be a neutral. When these things are not expected to be a neutral, okay, so there can be a problems. So so no confidence motion has been passed against this chairman. So we need to understand how the person first has been elected. So the Rajya Sabha chairman will be elected, okay, through the electoral college. Now, this is after the president, vice president is the second highest constitutional office. You might be knowing this thing. Second highest constitutional office. Now, how this Rajya Sabha chairman is elected is through the electoral college. This electoral college consists of members both from the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Okay. So this electoral college, we don't do this, we don't go for the direct elections, right? How do we select the generally your MP or MLA? You will go, you will go and do the, we will go for this voting process and all. This is called the direct election. But when the elections being conducted for the president or the vice president, so there would be the members in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha who are participating in this voting process. We will not be participating in the voting process. So such a process is called the indirect election procedure. Indirect election procedure. And I'm not going into so many details of this thing because this is a current affair class. This is not a static class. You are expected to you're supposed to read these things in the static, how these indirect elections of the Rajya Sabha is being conducted and all. Here I'm just giving you in a concise manner what is done in this what is the procedure followed in this electoral college. So in this electoral college, both the elected as well as the nominated members of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha participate in this indirect election process. Okay, so this is the point. And who is the one conducting the elections for this Rajya Sabha chairman? Can anyone tell me who is the person conducts the elections? So it is the Election Commission. And any disputes of elections related to this chairman of the Rajya Sabha will be contested in the High Court or Supreme Court. Can anyone tell me? High Court or Supreme Court? If any dispute in the process of election process of this Rajya Sabha chairman, so it will be taken up by High Court or Supreme Court, right? So it is taken by the Supreme Court. Okay, so these are the powers and functions which I have taken up from the Lakshmikant and also from the PIB. There is nothing much. So he will be taking up what kind of rules to maintain the decorum of the house. All those things I have given here. So there is a process that you need to go through. And currently this process of removal of the vice president is in the news. So how the process of removal? So now when this question comes in the mains, so it would be not appropriate if you do not write this Article 67 subclause B. If suddenly out of context, if UPSC asks you the question, give the process of the removal of the vice president, then if you don't mention this thing, that is fine. But since it is in the news, if you are unaware of this thing, then then you will be losing marks, because other person will definitely write this point. Article 67 subclause B is the article that is mentioned in the constitution regarding the procedure of the removal of the vice president or Rajya Sabha chairman. Okay, so any ground is mentioned for his removal? No, no ground is mentioned for his removal in the constitution. How the procedure of removal will start? First, a 14 days notice has to be given. Okay, like this, currently notice has been given in the Rajya Sabha. After this 14 days notice, then the resolution will be accepted. Then that resolution regarding the removal of the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha has to be accepted by all the members then present in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, at a resolution passed by majority of the all the members of the Rajya Sabha. Okay, and this resolution has to be first introduced only in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, this is the first important point. So how many members do you have in the Rajya Sabha? It is 245. So majority of the 245 members is required in the Rajya Sabha. Then it has to be also approved by the Lok Sabha with a simple majority. Only then the Rajya Sabha chairman will be removed. Okay. So currently, before the expiry of the 14 days notice period, the session will be expiring. Okay. So currently it is uncertain. Can this resolution be taken up in the next session? This is not clear. Let's wait and see what is going to happen. The motion is unlikely to succeed. Generally, why it is unlikely to succeed? Why it can be the chairman cannot be removed? Because it needs simple majority in the Lok Sabha and also effective majority in the Rajya Sabha. Now government has the majority, so it is very difficult for the removal of the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. So majority cases, this motion will fail. Okay, this is the point that you need to remember. So in the mains, they can ask, discuss roles, functions, and removal of vice president or Rajya Sabha chairman. So this can be a mains 10 marker question that can be asked. One second. Okay. So this can be the mains question that can be asked. So is this clear? So election, the vice president is elected by the electoral college consisting of the members of both the houses of the parliament in accordance with the very important thing, system of the proportionate representation by means of single transferable vote, and it is by the secret ballot. So all these can be a potential questions for your prelims. And if the mains they are asking specifically discuss the removal and the election procedure of the vice president, then you have to mention all these points. Okay. So the vice president is not the member of the either house of the parliament. Okay, I have given those things Lakshmikant related points I have given here. Okay, so the superintendence of the election is done by the vice president is done by the Election Commission of the India, and any disputes regarding the elections will go into the will be disputed with the Supreme Court of the India, and his decision is the final decision of the Supreme Court is final. Okay. Okay, so this is about the Rajya Sabha chairman. Okay, let me come to other topics that are in the news. Okay, now see, National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. This is the topic of your governance and also in the social justice. Governance and the social justice. Now, governance and social justice topics are very limited. You don't have to study so many things regarding NHRC. It is very easy, very simple. There are only set of roles and functions of the NHRC, and there are certain problems associated with the NHRC. That's it. Once you prepare this thing, your preparation is done. So NHRC, in the prelims, they will ask you, okay, it is a statutory body, came into the force in the 1993. Okay, so how the appointment is done? The chairperson and members of the NHRC are appointed by the recommendation of the select committee. Okay, there is a committee. The members of the committee becomes important because NHRC is in the news. First, let's understand why the NHRC is in the news. There is a body. There is an international body called, okay, where is that body? There is a Geneva-based UN-linked body called Global Alliance for the National Human Rights Institution. It is a body which gives accreditation. You might be knowing, even in our education system, this college is a good college, this college is a bad college. So such kind of accreditation is required. So in the same way, globally also such accreditations are provided to the Human Rights Commission body. Okay, Human Rights Commission body. It is given by the Geneva-based UN-linked Global Alliance of the National Human Rights Commission. Now, this body is not giving the accreditation to the NHRC. Why it is not giving NHRC? So because this NHRC is supposed to be a broad-based body. Currently, we will see the composition of this body. See here, see this body is supposed to having the members, ex officio members from the National Commission of the Minorities, SC, ST, National Commission for the Women, Backward Classes, Protection of the Child Rights, and chief persons of the with the disabilities. Okay, and let me also tell you. Okay, the central government. Okay, before coming into the point, see, so these are the members who are supposed to be ex officio members, and also women has to be the members of this NHRC. But currently, this global body says there are no sufficient women members or diversity in the NHRC. So that's why they are not giving accreditation. What happens if the diversity of composition is not present in the NHRC? Now, for suppose, if you are my students, okay, if something you guys have done wrong, if some person, outside person, comes to me and complains on my student, then there is a possibility that I might get biased. So when something happens, when some case happens against my students, it is also important that I need, say, broad-based representation. If I'm only providing information, okay, if I'm only dealing the judgment, then I might get biased towards my students. For suppose, the bias can also happen because I'm a male candidate. Okay, so there is importance is there is a requirement that there is a whoever is the body that is in such a at a higher level, there should be the body should be very broad based. There should be the representation coming from all the genders and all the sections of the people like SC, ST. Then only whether human rights violation has happened or not can be clearly put on the board. Okay, so that's why it is very important. Okay, so that's why NHRC is in the news. When the question comes, examine the role or examine the issues associated with the NHRC. When I write in the introduction context, recently the accreditation of the NHRC was being delayed by the global body because of the lack of diversity in its composition. So this will give the examiner a very good message that I am aware about the recent body in the news. What is the current affairs related to this body in the news? Okay, that will provide a clear-cut information to the evaluator and I will get the more marks. Okay, so that is the major point that is in the news. Let's understand. Okay, now let's understand about the everything about the NHRC. So how is its structure? So we know this NHRC is a statutory body and their members are appointed by the committee is headed by the members are appointed by the select committee, which is headed by the Prime Minister and includes other members like Speaker of the Lok Sabha, Minister in charge of Home Affairs, Leader of Opposition in both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and Deputy Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Now, who is going to determine the tenure, conditions, salaries? Again, central government is going to decide. So now this is also one of the drawback. Now this NHRC, this is a body is checking whether there is a violation of the human rights. Where is it checking? If the government arrests some person, Allu Arjun, you might be knowing, Pushparaj, now he got arrested. If any human rights have been violated in Allu Arjun case, or in the same way, if any person get arrested or any kind of violation of their rights is happening, now there can be a case, most of the times NHRC is going against the government. So it is checking whether the government has violated any human rights while implementing its role, while following its duties and responsibilities. So it is very important that such a higher level bodies be autonomous and be independent. Now, if the government is deciding their salaries, their terms of conditions and removal, is this a independent body? Can it function independently and autonomously? No, right? So this is also one of the major concern regarding this body, and this body is a statutory body. Okay, so here itself I have given you the point as well. Okay, the central government set the salaries, allowances, and other conditions of the service for both the NHRC members and the chairperson. After their tenure ends, you need to remember that NHRC chairperson members are not allowed to work for the central or state government jobs. Obviously, okay. The act was amended in the 2019. Initially, the term was for 5 years. Now it is 3 years. So this can be a potential prelims question. So initially the term was 5 years, but now it has been reduced after the 2019 amendment. It is for the 3 years. Okay. And then how the removal will be done? Removal can only done by the president on the grounds of proven misbehavior or incapacity. Both by the chairperson and the members can only be happened by the president on the grounds of the proven misbehavior and the incapacity. Okay, that is also another important point that needs to be done. And once their tenure is over, they are eligible for the reappointment. Okay, so these are the very important points that needs to be understood regarding the okay NHRC. Okay, mostly the NHRC, the chairperson is a retired Supreme Court judge. The tenure would be so what happens is these people after serving their tenure in the judiciary, then they come into the post of this NHRC. They are most of the times not serious. It is just seen as a kind of retirement benefit. Okay, chalo, now our term in as a judiciary is finished. Now let's go and take up one more job, some kind of employment allowance till 70 years. So there is lack of some seriousness in the NHRC functioning. Okay, that is also one of the major concern related to the NHRC. So that is what we are going to discuss here. Okay. In the functioning of the NHRC. Okay, so what are the functions? See now, see here. Okay, it is seen as a kind of, many times NHRC is viewed as a post-retirement destination for judges and the bureaucrats with political affiliations. Moreover, inadequacies of funds also hampers its working. So this is seen as an area where the people will be occupying the post after their retirement. So there is a lack of seriousness towards this NHRC, and they do not have necessary functioning. If I have to work properly, so what is required? I need functionaries. Functionaries means if I need to do some job, I need a team. Functionaries is nothing but the team. I need funds. So and I also need the autonomy, freedom. So these 3F approach can be used anywhere. Now the same question comes, instead of the NHRC, National Commission for Women or National Commission for Minorities. I will use this 3F approach. Its functionaries, its functions, and its freedom. So all the three are very important. Now, the amount of funds that are being given to the NHRC, they are also very limitedly used. So if the funds are limitedly used, how this NHRC can give the recommendations to the government? See, in these areas, human rights are getting violated. For suppose, NHRC has also done various good steps. Like many prison reforms has been happened. In the prisons, you might have seen in various movies, the conditions of the people staying in the prisons, they are very poor. Okay, various reports were provided by the NHRC, and so the prison reforms have been initiated. But to do all these procedures, the funds are required, and if any kind of violations are happening in the prisons, so that needs investigation. Now, who will be doing the investigation? Then NHRC will again go to the central government and the state government, and it is asking the again police functionary itself. Why will police investigate themselves against the police themselves? Why will police will do that job? Okay, obviously NHRC will go for some other police station. Let's say there are some kind of violations that are happening against the police station X. So NHRC will go into the police station Y to conduct inquiries regarding this police station X. But still, they are the police officers. NHRC is not having its own functionaries, so it is dependent on both the central government and the state government. So there is a problem of the functionaries, and like we have seen, tenure is decided by the tenure, appointment, removal, everything is being decided by the central government, especially conditions of service and the tenure are determined by the central government. Okay, so that's why lack of autonomy. Okay, and you might be knowing that. Okay, like one of the famous statement given by this former Attorney General of the Soli Sarabji, that it has been termed as a kind of teaming illusion. Now see, in the GS2, writing these words, the lines given by the thinkers will give you the additional advantage. Attorney General has said, okay, it's like India, NHRC is being termed as India's teasing illusion. When we mention these words, okay, so it will give us additional benefits in the scoring more higher marks. So why this was mentioned? Because even if some kind of rights are being violated to any person, for any woman, or in some case, NHRC can only recommend. It is not able to offer any kind of relief to the aggrieved party. So that is also one of the major problem associated with the NHRC. So if the question is asked for the mains, so you will be writing all these things. And once you prepare this thing, your mains topic is done. At the max, they will ask, examine the function and examine the structure and the functioning of the NHRC. That's all they can ask in the mains. There is no more additional possibilities of this question. If they ask in the prelims, they will ask about whether it is a statutory body or not, who is this, how the members or the chairman is being appointed, Okay, all these factual details will be asked. So this is about the NHRC. Now let's move into the mapping section. Chennai Valdivos Maritime Corridor. It is in the news. So this is a maritime route connecting the eastern part of the Russia in the Siberia and also to the Chennai. Okay, so this is basically it will reduce the traveling time from the India towards the Russia. So it becomes very important. See, currently it takes 8,000 kilometers. Now this is going to take 5,647 kilometers. So that is the important point that you need to. Right now, this thing I can also utilize in the India and Russia defense relationships, or even in the India and Russia overall economic relationships. So when we go for such kind of maritime corridors, it is going to enhance our trading capacities. So more trade can be done with the Russia. It can also improve the job creation because any new activity. So the points will be always same. Okay, any new corridor development. So what will happen? So some kind of infrastructure activity is going on. So it will create new jobs. And any infrastructure activity will always have the multiplier effect. So if I'm going for some kind of infrastructure project, so multiplier effect will be there. What kind of multiplier effect? Multiplier effect in terms of the job, in terms of the well-being, in terms of the resource efficiency. So when there are roads and when there are some kind of ports development happening in that region, so in order to complement that existing infrastructure, new infrastructure may come in that region. So as there are ports development, now in order to meet the needs of the people living in that port area, so some other entertainment zones might come, or road construction might happen, or some other activities might happen. So that is called the multiplier effect. Okay. So that is what Chennai Valdivos Maritime Corridor is it in the news. Okay, that is the part you have to remember. And then now see, they will ask the factual part. Now, which is the ports that are being integrated in this corridor? Paradip and Vizag port is also being focused in this corridor. Okay, then apart from this, this is also important project that is in the news. India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. Okay, this has two components: Eastern Corridor and the Northern Corridor. Now this is not just simply maritime corridor. It is ship rail road. Okay. So basically what we are trying to do is we do not have funds like China. China using its own funding mechanism like One Belt One Road initiative. Now we do not have those much of funds, but we want to counter China. What is happening with the China? China is just trying to encircle India. Okay, you might be currently aware that entire neighborhood of India. Okay, we are currently moving towards the China. You might be aware what is happening in the Bangladesh, what is happening in the Nepal, Maldives, Sri Lanka. Currently, all those governments are pro-China, right? So far, presently, before the present regime in the Bangladesh was pro-India during the Sheikh Hasina's regime. But now, currently, even the Bangladesh is towards the China. Now, what the China is doing is China is entering into the agreements with these nations, and it is constructing the road projects, highway projects, and also maritime development and also port development. Now, India cannot counter with its finances. Why? Because India is currently somewhere around $3.5 trillion economy. How much is the China? Can someone say? What is the China's economy? How much $1 trillion economy China? Can someone tell me? What is the economy of the China? How many $1 trillion of economy? Simple facts that we should be aware of. How much? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. How much? Can anyone guess? We always compete with the China. So what is their economy? No guess? It is 20 trillion, not 15. It is 20 trillion. So can you understand the difference? And USA, it is 30. So see the difference. Okay. So China does not think India is a competition. For the China, USA is a competition. Okay. USA is not afraid of India. It is afraid of China. Okay. Now we do not have enough funding capacity to match the China. So we also take support of various other countries in this project. Okay, this east corridor and the north corridor. Currently you might have heard about, okay, now Italy is also, we have met with uh, Italian government, and Italy is also showing interest. Now even those countries will also provide funding to this project. So these corridors will play the role, and this can be extended into Europe. And now currently we are discussing with the free trade agreement with the Europe. So now these kind of both road and rail connectivity as well as the maritime connectivity can enhance our trading capabilities. Again, all those things will happen. It can also help us to move from the $3.5 trillion economy towards $20 trillion economy. Okay, so this can also improve our logistics cost. It can also enhance our export potential. Now, for the prelims point of view, which all countries that are involved here, and these ports becomes important for us. Okay, so those things that you have to study. What are the, now see here, this spans for 4,800 kilometers, and it also includes Italy, France, and the Greek. If you have not studied this in UAE, Saudi Arabia, for the prelims, there is no other point, there is no other choice for us. We have to study these points. What are the countries that are involved here? Okay, so that is the other thing we need to study here. This is about the IMEC corridor. Now, India and UAE. See this India and UAE, the relationship started in the 2015 when the PM visited the UAE for the first time after the almost 35 years. So we can say this is a kind of it's a kind of very good initiative taken by our Prime Minister. From then the relationships have totally changed. So now UAE is one of our largest trading partner. It is one of the largest export destination of India. And why is the UAE important? Can someone tell me, just by your awareness, can you guys tell me some at least 2 or 3 points why UAE is important to us? Why are we concerned with the relationships with the UAE? You don't have to see, we don't have to know the points. Anything which comes to your mind, the first important thing? Yes, the most important thing is the oil. We currently import 85% of the oil. Now you might be knowing this UAE has also become part of the BRICS Plus. The reason is the same thing. We are trying to expand the composition of the BRICS because the UAE is known for its oil and natural gas. That is the most important thing. And the UAE, by exporting the oil, has a lot of dollar with it. What India says, what UAE, what will you do with all the dollar? Come and invest in India. So this can also increase the investment for India. Then we have so many Indian people. Okay, so diaspora is there in the UAE. Now, or we have also Indian people like NRIs are there. Now, protecting them, it is also very important for us. Taking care of their needs. So these are the most important points that has to be kept in mind regarding the UAE. So we have signed. So this is the most important point. In 2022, we have signed comprehensive economic partnership agreement with the UAE. India became the first country with which UAE has signed the CAPA, leading to 15% increase in the bilateral trade in its first year. Now, if the question comes between India and UAE, if you do not mention 2015, where the beginning has happened, and from there, the new comprehensive strategic partnership by signing up of the CEPA. And another important point is, recently we have also signed a deal for the nuclear collaboration. Let me show. Yeah. Both of the countries have signed MOU for the civil nuclear cooperation. Rest of the things anyway you can manage. So this becomes very important for us. So these are the 3 or 4 points that are very crucial and that has to come in your mains answer. CEPA, civil nuclear cooperation, and the 2015 India's visit. Okay, now these are the facts can add value. If you know, the fact, it can add more value. So 3.5 million Indians are present in the UAE, and the rest of the things like tourism also it can help for the tourism, people to people cooperation, cultural improvement, and UAE can also play the role, okay, to resolve the crisis between the Israel and Palestine. Right, You might have heard about this Abraham Accords and all. Okay, so the Israel is trying to improve its relationship with these countries through Abraham Accords, like with the Saudi Arabia, UAE. But suddenly these things has happened. Now again, these countries are also in the dilemma: should we improve our relationship with Israel or not? Because very severe issue is going on, severe crisis is going on between the Israel and Palestine. Okay, but still, you guys might be thinking India is currently becoming pro-Israel. No, even in the BRICS, India has reiterated the statehood for the Palestine. We might be having good relationships with the Israel, but at the same time, we have not given up we have not changed our stand regarding the Palestine. Okay, we still talk about the two-nation theory. Okay, we have nowhere changed our stand. Okay, so in that context as well, in improving the situations in the Middle East crisis, the relationship with the UAE becomes very important. Okay, so economic partnership, trade growth. Now see here, bilateral trade reached 84.5 billion. Writing these facts are very important since UAE is in the very much in the news. I will definitely study properly this UAE. UAE is the fourth largest foreign investor. I told you UAE has so many dollars, so it becomes one of the largest investor in India. But what are the challenges is the export basket. Whatever the exports we do for the UAE, they are not revenue generating. The things we import from the UAE are highly costly, but the amount of the things we export to the UAE are not that revenue generating. So as a result, trade deficit is increasing. So that's the problem that you have to do. Many Indian exports to UAE are low in value addition, being import dependent themselves. So we have signed. So what is CEPA? So you might be knowing, countries, in order to liberalize the trade, two countries will sign the agreements. Two countries will sign the agreement from the preferential trade agreement, free trade agreement, then they will move towards the CEPA. That means each country will lower the tariffs that will be imposed on the other nation. For suppose this is the country X and this is the country Y. If any product or any good is moving from X to Y, generally Y will impose tariffs, customs duty, you might be knowing. So when these agreements are signed, these tariffs will be lowered. So when the tariffs are lowered, the price will be reduced and more trading can happen. So that will benefit the other nation. So we have signed the CEPA, but the people will say how far it is going to benefit. Most of the time, the free trade agreements are not benefiting the India. So that's why we have also not participated in the RCEP. That is a point that you have to keep in mind. Okay. So, but anyway, these are the certain concerns. So our export basket is limited and they are not very highly competitive. So we are always having the not having the trade surplus with this. Okay. So that is a point that needs to be kept in mind regarding the UAE. Okay. Now, before coming into the other thing, now see here, this is the EFTA. Within the European Union, there are certain 4 countries: Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and the Switzerland. So currently, this is called European Free Trade Agreement. Is a regional trade association, and the free trade agreement consists of this is the grouping of the 4 countries: Iceland, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Switzerland. So why is this in news? India has signed a trade agreement with this European Free Trade Association. Now, this is a very important, significant prelims question. They can ask, has India signed a free trade agreement with this European Free Trade Association? Who are the members present in this? So Switzerland is very important. You might be liking the Switzerland chocolates. Currently, India has also accepted to reduce the tariffs on this Switzerland products. Okay, so we might get less tariffs. But again, our agriculture community, farmer community will say that when these such a cheap dairy products enter into the India, so this may cause loss to India. But how the India has made deal with this is, India has asked them to do the investment. So India made a clause. Okay, Mr. Switzerland or Norway, you guys are very highly sophisticated. So you guys can sell us very sophisticated products like Swiss goods, watches and all. But in order to balance this mismatch, I want you people to invest in India. So this is a significant thing that we have made in this free trade agreement. If this thing is not, if such a kind of investment is not done, we will revisit this trade after the 15 years. The deal will be reviewed. If investment goals are unmet, so then we will cancel the clause. But still some people criticize, okay, how far it can be successful. It might cause harm to India in these 15 years. Okay, but India says no. Why should we think such a negative manner? Okay, so this can also boost our make in India. So that's the reason. So can this question be asked in the mains? No, no. Now you have to use in the make in India question. How the India is using various diplomatic measures, various international IR related things. Okay, to enhance this make in India. Okay, so the target is enhance the 100 billion target of the investment. So, but while see now from the 2000 to 2023, it was just 10 billion. So how can this 100 billion investment target can happen from from these countries? So that is a kind of challenge that we see. Okay, so very important. This is the point that has to be kept in mind. So both of them are relevant, and this question can also be asked, has to be utilized in the mains, or else it will not add much value for your content. Okay, now see BRICS. Understand the context of the BRICS. Okay, currently, you have these members, general members, and these are the new members that were added. These are the new members that have recently joined in the BRICS. So this becomes very important for your prelims, the members, who are the members of it. Why the BRICS came into the news? You might be you might be aware about IMF, World Bank. These are the Bretton Woods institutions. Generally, IMF will take care of your balance of payment problems. So if any country face liquidity crisis, what is this? What do you mean by this balance of payment crisis or liquidity crisis? For suppose India will do the trading with the other countries in terms of the hard currency dollar. If India do it in terms of the rupee might not be beneficial for the USA or any countries. We are trying to promote the rupee. We will come to that point again. Internationalization of the rupee, trying to de-dollarization. Even that is also one of the important component of the BRICS. We will come to that point again. But we need hard currency. So if I am facing any kind of deficit in the hard currency, that is called a BOP crisis. And IMF will provide us loans in that scenario. But IMF or World Bank may provide us long-term loans and short-term loans, but they will come up with the conditionalities. So because of this issue, these BRICS countries, these emerging economies, came up with their own mechanisms in order to counter these institutions. But however, we say these are not a kind of counter. These are alternative mechanisms for the democratic governance. But issue was this came in this context of this thing. Since the reforms were not happening in these institutions, India is asking to reform the IMF, reform the World Bank, to bring more democratic form of governance in this. Currently, the members, chairmen, everything will be coming from the European nation countries or US-based countries. So because of this thing, the functioning is vast. So still we are fighting in the international bodies to reform these bodies. Since this has not happened, we have come up with the mechanism under the BRICS, which has these things. Contingent reserve agreement. This is similar to the balance of payment crisis that was resolved by the IMF. New development bank. This is similar to the World Bank, established in the 2014. Now, where is this new development bank? Very important prelims question is already asked. Okay, apart from this, in order to promote the economy between the BRICS, we have also come up with the business council and also think tank council. Though it was came in the 2014, and why is it significant? Now, see, you might be aware of G7 and all, but now who is growing? India is growing, Brazil is growing, China is growing. Though Russia is not such a dominant economy, here in these countries, these are the emerging economies. Now, currently, yes, these are also growing very well. So we have incorporated them. So the significance of these countries lies. Okay, the rest of the developed countries are slowly slowing down. Though we have $30 trillion economy of the USA and France also some $5 trillion economy, and they are very advanced. But these BRIC countries themselves represent 45% of the world population, 28% of the global economy. In the future is in the BRICS nations. So that's why they become very important. And currently, by enhancing its membership, even they are handling this. Okay, they are 40% of the world crude oil reserves. Okay, to bring the South-South cooperation and all these purposes, the BRICS become very important. That's why we have the BRICS. But what is the problem? Now, see, even though we have these BRICS nations, what kind of differences you have between the India and China? Everyone are aware of it, right? And do you see any kind of strong ties or cooperation between the India and the South Africa and India and Brazil? We have IPSA, but it is literally non-functional. IPSA, anyone aware? India, Brazil, and the South Africa. But nothing is progressing forward. Where is Brazil? Okay, where is this Latin America, South America, and Latin America? There is no proper connectivity. We do not have proper connectivity with them. So there is no proper trade, and we have internal differences with the China. Though Russia and China are good friends, Russia and China themselves have so many internal contradictions. So BRICS themselves have so many problems. What kind of problems they have? They have lack of economic connectivity. Lack of economic connectivity. Do we have the free trade agreement? Like there is a free trade agreement between these East ASEAN countries. ASEAN is the most successful grouping. Why? Because they have the free trade agreement between themselves. Though there are so many disputes present in the South China Sea, still it will not lead to the military crisis. Primarily, they are economically integrated. Such a kind of economic integration is not there. Why the India and China crisis is not leading to the war? Even China is also one of the largest trading partner of the India. So that's why it is not leading to the war. So economic connection is very important. If I fight with the Srimukhi, okay, or any if I fight with the Sai Bhargav, okay, if me and Sai Bhargav or Srimukhi, we are together working, doing some kind of business or job or some kind of business activity. So if I spoil my relationships, so our business will also get affected. So we try not to spoil our relationships. We'll try to respect our relationships. Okay, until unless it spills over into the other areas. So that's why economic diplomacy becomes very important. But such a kind of linkages, where is there? Many things are being said under the BRICS, but most of them are not coming into the force. Okay, so these are the problems associated with the BRICS, and also developed countries see this as a kind of anti-West. Now see, USA says that it is pro-India and all, but since India is also participating in these kind of groupings like BRICS, we are also participating in the SCO. India has also purchased, okay, anti-missile defense system. What is it? What did we purchase from the USA? It starts, sorry, from the Russia. What is it? What is it? Yes. Can someone say? Yes, 400. Very good. Okay. So USA went on to say we are going to impose sanctions on India. So we are maintaining defense relationship with Russia, and we are also participating in the BRICS and SCO. So this is being seen as a anti-West. So this may also affect India as well as the entire grouping. And also there is no solidarity, a kind of harmony between the members also, because India is a democratic country. Is China and Russia democratic? Is there any rule of law? Are you aware what is happening in the China? No. So there is a diversification of the partnership. There is lack of solidarity. Economic partnership, nothing is happening. Now, so USA have said recently, if you guys challenge the dollar, if you try to do the de-dollarization, currently everything is happening in the dollar, trade is happening in the dollar. So USA says, if Russia do something, so I will impose the sanctions. No one will trade with the Russia. So I will block the flow of the dollar from the Russia. So Russia says, okay, let's trade in the local currencies. India and Russia entered into trade with the local currencies. Now entire BRICS, they are planning to do the trading in the local currencies. So now USA is saying we are going to impose customs duty, that is tariffs on all your BRICS nations. So that is one challenge. Now another challenge is, if we go for such a kind of de-dollarization, would it not benefit China? We don't have any good relationship with China also. So it might leverage China also. Right? Are you guys connecting? Are you guys able to link the things? So this is the point. These are the issues related with the things. Okay, managing internal rivalries, economic disparities, lack of proper institutional things. So new development bank and all, they are not functioning properly. Various external pressures and all. These are the things. Now, when the question comes, China's dominance is there. Okay, all the things I have given. Everything related to the BRICS. How to overcome these things? Now, these things I will write in the conclusion, in the paragraph format. You need not do all those things. Once it is done, okay. Now, this significance of BRICS summit, I will use only in the introduction. Very rare cases, they are going to ask, highlight the BRICS summit, 16th BRICS summit. They will not ask. But when next year the question comes in the BRICS summit, if I use the Kazan declaration, strengthening the multilateralism, it's not necessary that I'm using it in the BRICS. I'm using it somewhere else. implement the Kazan Declaration. Okay, how we are, when we went for the BRICS, we have also tried to talk to the China. When we have not met with China in the recent last 3-4 years, but when such meeting happens, China president has also come. Then Modi government has interacted with this. So this is the place where we were able to interact with the China. So this is giving us an opportunity to expand its diplomatic scope with the China. So that is where we are getting the scope for the strategic discussion between the Minister Modi, Prime Minister Modi and the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Depending upon the need, if I am aware, I will use this question. Okay, Global South Cooperation. This was highlighted in the recent BRICS summit in the Kazan Declaration. That's it. So I need not study all these points. So the person who is not aware how to utilize the current affair, they try to memorize all these things. See, by the time of next year mains, it might not be that relevant. For me, only Kazan's Declaration and BRICS Plus becomes very important. Based on our discussion, significance and challenges, now you are very clear. You need not study again. Done my BRICS preparation. It is highly relevant, highly possible that they can be asking this in the upcoming Group 1 exams of APPSC or any exam. So this is the most important thing. Telangana Dalli. Okay, this is the recent changes that has been done in the statute. Now, okay, CM says, okay, so the previous one is more aristocratic. It shows some kind of richness. See here, okay, gold is found here everywhere. Okay, here the woman is simply in a green saree. There is no much ornamentation. Here is also that gold level ornamentation is there. So this represent more to local culture and all. And who designed this thing? B. Venkatramana. So this can be asked in the prelims. Okay, so these differences can be asked in the state exam, but this can be asked in the UPSC prelims. So this thing who are writing the group exam and all, there it is important from them. Okay, now let me quickly finish the two important topics, MGNREGA and PM AWAS Yojana before we wrap it up this topic. Now see, again, you have the topic of social justice in the paper 2. Recently, now this year, they will generally in the GS2 governance, they will assess the performance of MGNREGA, or they will ask, currently they have asked how far your social security schemes is ensuring the inclusive growth. This was the question this year, something like this. Social security, assess the trends and pattern, how it is staying, how is helping in the inclusive growth. Now, if I do not study these schemes, I will not be able to write. Do I need to study all the schemes? No, those schemes that are in the news. If they ask me directly MGNREGA scheme, I will know the context. Currently, it is in the context because many people have lost their Aadhaar job holding cards. So a person will be given job holding cards, okay, based on which the person will be given the employment through this MGNREGA. But number of people have lost their names in the list. Why? Because government has recently introduced Aadhaar enabled payment system. So every person who is holding this MGNREGA card, okay, they must be having the Aadhaar first, and their Aadhaar should be linked to properly to the bank name, and the Aadhaar should be having the same name with which you are being listed under this MGNE and MGNREGA card. So crores of people have found their names missing. So that's why it is in the news. Now, what kind of social security are you providing? If you even I struggle to do this kind of financial integration. Now, the people who is not skilled or semi-skilled and the people living in the rural areas, they will definitely struggle. So that's why it is in the news. Okay, these job cards, the names that are present in the job cards that are missing. Okay, so that is the context in the news. Now, for the mains point of view, I will study. Since it is in the news, these are the things I have taken up from the government website. I will just once go through what are the features of the MGNREGA. Everyone knows it is a statute, it is a legal act. Now everyone needs to know. See, now why the act is rights-based entitlements, everyone might be knowing. Rights-based entitlements means law has been passed to enforce the right to livelihood. Under Article 21, our right to life has been increased to ensure the right to livelihood. And this right to livelihood has been enforced by passing this MGNREGA Act. If this act is not there, if say currently BJP government says, I will provide you livelihood. Now currently next government might come and they are not providing you livelihood. If there is a law, this is called rights-based entitlement. No one can do anything. Okay, government will not be able to make any kind of changes. So it is very important. Rights-based employment entitlement act, enforcing Article 21 or directive principles of the state policy. I think Article 43, if I'm not wrong. You need to see that. Now, what are the, so it provides 100 days at least guarantee employment to the, in a financial year, to the adult member of the rural household willing to do the unskilled manual labor. That is the important point. Okay, so it is applicable to all the villages in the district. For the prelims point of view, they can ask, since it is in the news. So they have to do the registration to get the job card. A minimum, in order to, now this thing is also helpful in the sustainable development environment or construction of the infrastructure. Now, for suppose you all guys came to me. Okay, if there are 10 people, now as there are 10 people, you will all guys get the, if you are from the rural area, I will be giving the card. And since there are 10 people, I will be asking you to construct the rural households, or I will be asking you to do the afforestation, to do the watering to the soil. So with this, environment can also improve, infrastructure can also improve. So these things, I'm also providing you some kind of sufficient wages. This is called wage-based support. For the poverty, this is called the wage-based support. Another thing, another support is also there. Skill-based support. Okay, so wage-based employment, this is skill-based employment. This is a MGNREGA falls in the wage-based employment, helping in the poverty. Okay, so you need to be aware. So work has to be provided within the 5 kilometers range. Just you need to go through this thing once. If employment is not provided, state government may pay compensation daily. Okay, so you just have an idea. Wages are paid according to the State Minimum Wages Act, as per the Minimum Wages Act 1948. Okay, equal wages for the women and men, and 1/3 of the beneficiaries should be the women. So you go through this thing. No contractors or machineries are allowed. Grievance redressal mechanism is there. This is not required for the mains. Okay, you also have the grievance redressal mechanisms, but just this can be asked for the prelims. If this is not properly implemented, then there is a grievance redressal mechanism. Now see, if the person has to lose his job card, there is a proper mechanism. What is that mechanism? Process of the deletion of the names under the MGNREGA. As per the act, first opportunity should be given. If I have deleted the name of the Kiran Kumar or Srimukhi, I have to give them opportunity. And this has to be properly verified by the Gram Sabha. No, all these procedures are not followed. Gram Panchayat has been violated. Okay, so this is a kind of problem that you will use in the governance as well. Assess the efficiency of various initiatives taken up by the poverty alleviation schemes by the government, not just here, in the poverty alleviation schemes, employment generation schemes, social security. I don't have to study anything more again. Or in the direct benefit transfer, digitalization, IT-based empowerment. I will use all those places. Study less, use more content. So see here, almost in the 2021 to 1.4 crores workers got deleted, and it has increased to 247%. It has been 5 crore people have lost their names. So that is a problem here. Okay. Now, what are the problems? Now, see, if I have notes with me, issues associated with the MGNREGA, I don't have to work so hard. Now, see, issues and challenge faced by the government regarding the MGNREGA. And then I have mentioned the issues and problems faced with the public. So I have divided the problems associated with the MGNREGA in terms of the public problems faced by the public, and also with the government. So government face difficulty in implementing these schemes in the Maoist insurgency area and implementing creation of the assets. Generally, this is not a skill development initiative. Okay, so linking it to the Aadhaar and directly properly transferring of the funds and all, this is people that's kind of problems the government will face. Now, while writing the suggestions, when I mentioned the suggestions given by the standing committee of report on the rural development, then my recommendations will add value. Okay, I have given all the recommendations here, and the content will become easy for you. Okay? Now, another important scheme is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So I have just given you context how the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, it came in the 2016 in order to provide 2 crore housing. We all know this is a kind of social security. So this is also kind of poverty alleviation. Now, the many people do not have the proper housing for themselves. So both, it has two components, urban and the rural. Now, what is the criteria in the urban? In the urban areas, how I select the beneficiaries, it is based on their income. Now, based on the income, I will select the beneficiaries, and it is by the urban housing affairs. And here in the rural area, by the rural development. Here I will select the beneficiaries based on the socio-economic caste census. So understanding the socio-economic caste census is also important. So these are the two important points for the prelims. 2 crore beneficiaries, 2 components, ministries I have to remember, and the criteria is different. Income-based criteria, and here it is socio-economic caste census. Okay, so that's why it is in the news. Another important thing that you need to study is from the mains point of view. So now how these things, so now see the urban areas also have the slum. So it is also targeting, you might be studied about this thing, area based approach, area based development in the smart cities. So that itself, those area itself will be developed. Now how the area will be developed? Now for suppose I am a slum guy, Srimukhi is a government, she wants to provide me housing. So Srimukhi has 3 components with herself. So Srimukhi will enter into the contract with some private player, Kiran Kumar. Srimukhi, with the support of the private player in PPP mode, she might construct the home for me and ask me to relocate into this house. Or Srimukhi may say, I will give you incentives. I will give you some kind of interest subvention. So this is another way. Srimukhi is saying, you take loan and you construct your own house. I will give the lesser loan for you. Credit at a cheaper price, cheaper value, cheaper interest. Or another thing, Srimukhi may say, beneficiary-led incentive. You bring with yourself 10 lakhs, I will provide you some 10 lakhs. This is called beneficiary-led incentive. So what is currently problem is majority of the housing schemes are falling in this zone. As a result, many people are not able to get the access to the housings. So that is where delays or struggles are happening. And the private players, now you might be knowing in the how real estate is a high income generating for the real estate player. So private player is not showing interest. So when the Srimukhi goes to the Kiran Kumar and asks, please construct houses for the rural areas, Kiran Kumar will say, Srimukhi, I will get only 10 lakhs if I construct houses for the economically weaker section. If I construct houses for the rich people, okay, I might get 10 crore. Why should I construct a housing for the rural, economically weaker section? So that is also another problem. So these are the struggles. So they have 2 components, which all the components that are present: EWG, LIG, middle income group, beneficiary-led construction, affordable housing in the partnership with the private player, affordable renting housing. These are the things. Interest subsidy scheme. These are the present and challenges: failure to sanction the housing, and the lack of private participation. Lack of this design was also not properly designed. Okay, the design issues, cost issues, land acquisition is also not happening. So Kiran Kumar will also say, allot me land. I'm also not able to get the land also. So that is also another problem. So from both from the prelims point of view and mains point of view, we have covered the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana and also MGNREGA scheme. Okay, so this is the way. See how many schemes we have covered in a comprehensive and a fast forward manner. If you try to study all these things by yourself, it might take so much of time. So I have tried to put everything at one place. I have covered all of your headache. You need not do anything. So if anything additional is required, I will update my material itself. I will make any kind of corrections in my material. So I will be sending it to you. You need not do anything else. So issues and challenges, everything it is there. So you just have to stick to my content. Okay, so mapping will be also taken care. You need not worry. Just quickly let me tell you. See, now you might be we have studied about the Latin America. Okay, recently government of India, Modi has also visited these countries from the Caribbean countries, right? This is the Caribbean islands. Okay, that is present in the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so CARICOM is a grouping came together in the Caribbean countries. Okay, so we have also made some kind of agreements. We are trying to improve relationship with this CARICOM group. So who are this CARICOM group? Okay, so the CARICOM is a group of organization in order to establish a proper economic linkages between those member countries. Okay, it consists of totally 15 members present in this Caribbean region. Okay, now this is the Caribbean islands. Now you might be getting confused about the what is meant by this CARICOM and who are the members in the CARICOM, or what is meant by the Latin America. So just you need to understand geographically. Latin America includes both the Central America as well as the South America. You do not worry. Okay. So in the Latin America, the bigger countries are the Brazil and the Mexico. Just see which countries. Now, from the mapping point of view, you need to understand which are the landlocked nations, which countries are having the boundaries with the Brazil, and you also understand which countries are having the borders with the Pacific Ocean. This is the Pacific Ocean and this is the Atlantic Ocean. So just have an idea about these Central American countries, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua. So which countries have borders with both the Atlantic Ocean and both the Pacific Ocean? So these kind of mapping things they can ask, because currently they are focusing on this Pacific Ocean countries. Okay, now by doing this thing, am I not able to simplify your job? So whatever the things that comes in the news, that I will be doing definitely from my end, and I will be taking care of your thing. And also this thing I have discussed already in my Instagram also. Okay, what is this thing? Tenpenai River. Tenpenai River is a river that is disputed between the Karnataka and the Tamil Nadu. Karnataka and the Tamil Nadu. This river, actually, this Tenpenai River is also called as a Southern Pennar River. This river originates from the Nandidurg Hills. Nandidurg Hills of the Karnataka. Nandidurg Hills of Karnataka. And from the same Nandidurg Hills, other rivers originate are the Pennar, Papagni, Arkavati. Papagni and the Arkavati. This Pennar River flows into the Rayalaseema region. And another river is the same Southern Pennar River called the Tenpenai River. And Tenpenai River is also in the news because of, not only because of the dispute between the Karnataka and the Tamil Nadu, because this river is one which is causing the floods recently in the Tamil Nadu region because of the overfilling of the dam, Satnur Dam. Now see how many things we have covered. Satnur Dam we have covered. Now you also know the origin of the Pennar, Papagni, Arkavati and Tenpenai, which is in the Nandidurg Hills. Nandidurg Hills is present in the Chikmagalur regions of your Karnataka, which is your Western Ghat part. And why this thing, these Limpayadura and Kalapani is in the news? Because currently Nepal is in the news, and these Kalapani and Limpayadura, these are the disputed locations between the India and the Nepal. So that's why I have given this thing, Kalapani and Limpayadura. That's the point that you need to know. And recently some volcanic eruptions has happened in the Indonesia region, because this Indonesia region is the area where plate boundaries are converging. So where this volcanoes have been erupted, see here, Mount Livotabi, Laki. Okay, just you need to be aware. One more volcanic eruption in the Jakarta region. Okay, what is that? What is that area? Okay, so this is the thing. Mentawai in the island. Okay, there is a volcanic eruption. Okay, one volcanic island is the Mount Livotabi, and another volcanic island is the Mount Marapi. Okay, so Mount Marapi is present in the Java. Okay, Java Island. You have the Sumatra Island. You have the Java Island. Okay, this is the part where the earthquake has happened. Okay, that is a different news. And this is the part where the volcanic eruption has happened. So Jakarta. So we need to be aware. So not Jakarta, sorry, Java Island, Sumatra Island, and this is the another island called the Flores Island. You have so many islands in the Indonesia. So we need to be aware. Okay, this kind of eruption has happened in the eastern part of the islands of the Indonesia. Okay, so one more thing. Another thing, land ports. Land Port Authority of India. Land ports, what are these things? Now we are doing so many imports and exports from the your Bhutan, your Bangladesh and all. So these things, like for suppose your Nepal does not have any kind of sea access, we need definitely border areas which can take up the so much of your containers and all to halt them or to send it to the seaports. So land ports are a kind of location where you will save your containers before moving them into the seaports. So these are very important. And who is the body that is handling the Land Ports Authority of India? Now, if this thing comes in the new prelims, most of you will definitely do the wrong, because this is a statutory body and it is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. You might be easily guessing Ministry of Home Affairs, because these most of the land ports are present in the border areas to handle the goods and services, that are goods coming from the border areas. That's why it is in the Ministry of Home Affairs. If you study this thing, you will not make any kind of error in your prelims. So statutory body, it is under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And how many such land ports we have currently? Okay, currently there are 11 operational ports. Just have an idea. It may ask, because UPSC is asking such a kind of factual details, they may ask. That's it. Nothing more to be studied. Just see how many topics we have covered from the current topics. All the document. This document will be shared in the group today, but later on, I will be doing it for the only for the people who have been enrolled for the program. Okay, I hope you guys have the clarity how the program is going to be, and this is how we will be doing the discussion of the program, and all the things like I told you, all the things will be covered in the same program. And you will also get the segregated way. Material will be segregated from the polity point of view, mapping point of view, economy related topics. Those segregations will also be done and will be provided to you. You need not worry about that aspects. Okay, before the prelims, all the segregation will be done. You just focus on the static topics. You just focus on solving the questions. Okay, these things will be done. Any kind of doubts and questions, you can easily directly reach out to me on Telegram. Okay. So these are the things that I wanted to communicate. Okay. So any other questions, any other doubts you have?